Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a plan with me in my Common Planner. This is the N1H Common Planner. This is what I'm using instead of my Hobonichi weeks, which I used in 2023. And I have only used pretty much the same spread for the first 2 weeks of January. And so I'm going to try to change it up slightly, but I'm still not sure if I'm going to like the spread or not. But if you would like to see me do a plan with me in my Common Planner, then go ahead and keep watching. Alright, so we are going to flip to the week, and I'm going to be planning for the week of January the 15th through January the 21st. Today is actually January the 15th. Really quickly, these are the kind of the layouts that I have used so far in my Common Planner in 2024. It's pretty much literally the exact same layout each week, and I'm going to change it up slightly. I am a very minimalistic planner, so I do not like a lot of stickers and a lot of, stuff in my planners, specifically for this one, because this is my on-the-go take with me when I leave the house or appointments or anything like that. And so I want this to be just get to the point. Let me know what I'm doing that day. Let me make any notes that I need to. Let me add to it as the day goes on. So it's very much a functional, minimalistic planner. So if that is kind of up your planning alley, then this might be a good video for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I like to highlight the day. I think it just makes it stand out a little bit more. So that's what we're going to be doing first. And I'm going to be using my Tombow 451, and this is going to match the washi that I plan on using, which is this Coffee Monsters Co. like icy washi. And I'm using this specifically for this week because this week it actually is somewhat snowing in northern Alabama. It does not happen very often, so I have been saving this washi for when I knew it was going to snow the few times during the year. So that's what we're using, and it's going to match really well with this color. And that is pretty much all that we're going to do with this Tombow. Like I said, I'm very minimalistic, so we're just going to leave that there. I might end up using it again in a little bit, but I'm not sure. But so the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and line my days, just that way it stands out a little bit easier and I can see it a little bit better. I do have 2 rulers. This is the ruler that I'm using currently because my existing ruler does not reach the full page, and so this is what I'm using. I am probably going to be getting a different one just because this is much more like it does not bend, so it's not as good for what I like my rulers to be. But that's what we're going to use right now for the lengthwise writing, and then I'll use this for the like going across. So we're going to do that. I have to kind of move things out of the way. All right, so those are all the lengthwise lines, and now I'm going to use this to do the width, and we're just going to do the same thing for days. And I'm using my Muji pen in 0.38. That's absolutely my favorite pen to use just for anything. It is an amazing pen. It does not smear. If you give it 5 seconds, not even 5 seconds to dry, it doesn't smear, and it works really well. I found this pen and immediately loved it and bought, I think I have like 5 different backups. I think I got a pack of 5 or a pack of 6. I don't remember. But I immediately went out and bought backups. And I like the 0.38 or the 0.5. They're basically equal in my eyes. I love them both the same. Alright, so we have the week done. Now this is where it's going to change a little bit. The Common Planner has already like little dots that break up different like quadrants of the page, and so typically I just, like I did here, I just drag it apart like across, and then this is my appointments and like work things, personal appointments, all that kind of stuff, and then this side was like my to-do list for that particular day, which I do like. I absolutely love the way this is set up. However, for this week, I want to try something a little bit different. I still want the functionality of tracking appointments, tracking, things I want to do. But on this page, I think I'm going to make it not so rigid to the particular day, because this last week in particular, I have been really bad about like doing calls. Like I was supposed to call my insurance and I wanted to call them on Tuesday and I didn't call them on Tuesday. So then I wanted to call them on Wednesday and then I didn't call them on Wednesday. I was going to call them on Thursday. I didn't call them on Thursday. I still didn't call them on Friday. So instead of having it rigid to that specific day, I'm going to have quadrants, like 3 quadrants of like categories for what I want to do during this week. So I'm going to go ahead and use the already existing lines, and let's go ahead and just do this line up here at the top. Just that way, I'm going to end up covering it up, I think, but that way I feel like it's complete. All right, so we have this top quadrant, and then we're going to have this is going to be, because there's like a little dash here that tells me where I need to draw my line. So we have this section, and then the other little dot is right here, and we're going to draw this section as well. And then we're going to draw the line at the very bottom, and we have this little section. My ruler moved. Oh well. Okay, so on this page we have personal appointments, personal meetings, personal things, like calendar wise, like what I have on my calendar for this section. This section I have 3 like parts to it, or for this page we have 3 parts. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to use, just because the Hobonichi weeks is very functional, you get basically the entire page to use for planning, and there's no like dead space, which is great, but it'll leave you with very limited space to decorate, whereas the Hobonichi weeks, you had a much thicker top piece, and then you had the very bottom piece had the like Japanese sayings, and so you had this part that you could put like washi and stuff, and it didn't really impede on anything in your planning purposes. Common Planner doesn't have that, but I still want to have some kind of decoration, just so that way I have something that's, you know, it gives a little something extra. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put these washis as like the header of each section, because I don't need a full like this much stuff to write out like what I'm planning on putting in these sections. So I think I'm just going to do this, and then this is where I said I'm not really going to be needing the lines, but I put them down anyways. And I'm going to see if I can get this straight. I am not a good person to lay washi straight. It just does not happen very often. So we will see how crazy this gets to be. Well, it's not bad. All right. So this ruler I think is amazing. I got this from my Coffee Monsters Co. subscription kit. This like metal bendable kind of ruler is so good at tearing washi. Like it puts it in the perfect like straight line. I never really have that many extra like little pieces that did not rip straight. So this is amazing for that. This is my #1 washi cutter basically. So we're going to do the same thing with this section. So that way we have kind of a easy delineation between little sections. So we have this, and then we're going to do the same, tear, and then this part. So far, I'm really liking the way this looks. Now we have our appointments, normal things that we would do for planning purposes. And then we have these 3 sections. And now what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have probably my top section, I guess, is going to be like my to-do list. So that way I can just put down call insurance and it's not tied to any particular day. So these are going to be my to-dos. This is going to be like my social media tracker for all of my videos. And then we're going to have, this section is going to be kind of just an overarching like notes section. So for this week, for instance, Monday is a holiday, so I'll put down, the 15th is a holiday. The 16th, my kids were actually supposed to go back to school, but because of snow and ice and things, we just got notified this morning that school is closed on the 16th. So I'll put down, school closed on the 16th. And then anything else, like just overarching notes for the week, I'll put down here. So that's kind of my thoughts. Now, what I think I'm going to end up doing is I do kind of want to write I'm going to use my Tombow. I am not a fancy like calligrapher. I do not have the fancy handwriting that, you know, I've seen other planners have. I just don't have that. So I don't really use the like actual brush to do any of my writing. I usually end up using this, and that way it gives it something to kind of stand out. And I turn my paper sideways. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. But I think what I'm gonna do is just write like my to-do list, just so that way I have kind of like a header. I have that. I don't know if you can really see it because it is like a baby blue, but what I like to do in my Hobonichi Cousin, at least when I do this type of thing, is I'll write down the word in the Tombow, and then I'll just kind of use my pen to offset it so I won't do exactly the line. I'll kind of either write to the left or write to the right or up or down, just so that way it's not me just writing completely on top. Let me zoom in a little bit so that way you can kind of see what it looks like. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's, again, I'm not the best handwriter, specifically if I'm trying to do like more of a standout type thing, but I'm fine with that. Again, this is my planner, so I can make it look like whatever I want it to look like. And so we have the social media, and then we have the notes. And I think this is a really good, it's minimalistic decoration. And so if I end up having to take this into work or a professional setting, I don't think it would look too unprofessional, I'll say, to bring this out and make any kind of updated notes at like work or appointments or doctor's things or anything like that. I think the way that I have it now is probably the maximum amount of stuff I would put in my on-the-go personal planner. So that is that. We're gonna go ahead and move all of my supplies out of the way because now is the 100% planning piece. So I'm probably just gonna fast forward this because you don't really care about my work hours or my appointments or my to-dos or anything like that. So I'm sure you're not gonna care about this. So I'm just gonna speed through it so that way you can kind of see what I'm doing, but I'm not really gonna talk through it because I find it kind of boring and redundant. So hopefully, if you would like to see that, then that's great. I guess you could slow it down, but I'm going to be speeding it up.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small.
I think this is everything that I'm going to do in my common planner for this week. And I must say, I actually really do like the way this looks out. I possibly might like this even more than I like this. This has been my go-to layout in my Hobonichi weeks for like the last, all of December, I think, and then part of November, if I'm remembering correctly. And so I know that layout works, but I think I might actually like this better because it gives me all of the functionality that I need without kind of limiting me to exactly what I need to do on a particular day. I still need to do it during the week, but it's not tied to any day in particular. So I think I'm really gonna like this. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions on how you do your planning in like your Hobonichi weeks or common planner like this, then make sure you drop it down below. I'm really curious. I would love to find different layouts and things that I would like to use in my planner. And yeah, I would appreciate it. So make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.